Carl in Chicago, listening to WCPT. Hey, Carl, what's up?
Yes, Tom. I'm just wanted to say, based on that last call, that I think as a psychologist, I see a lot of marriages that the women have become too strong and aggressive and those kind of things within the relationship, and the man has become kind of emasculated.
Emasculated is the word.
Yeah. And I think, with the debates we're having in public, I think men are afraid to speak up. That as a risk to sound sexist or something like that, but really with the staying home with the children and stuff. I've had 3 children. I know my wife is much more suited for being nurturing and caring, especially right after they're born. If I were to stay home, there would be really nothing I could do, especially if she's breastfeeding. It's really.
Well, this is a point I made earlier during what was the break for some of our listeners, was that there is this thing of biology that we have to acknowledge, that I'm the father of 3 kids too, and that Louise was actually had these 3 children grow inside her and nurse from her for years, and I just caught them when they came out, and I know that the bond that we have to our kids is different, and I believe it's a consequence of that in part. But that said, nonetheless, if we, as a society, if we want families to be stronger, why not give parents, and parental leave is one of the tools that we're going to use to accomplish that, why not give parental leave to both parents? And if they don't both work in the same place, you could even give it to them at the same time, and they could be with their kids. Louise and I had that luxury on a couple of occasions because we had, we were entrepreneurs. We'd sold a business in one case and had good managers who could take over another in another. And then on the third case, 1 year, Louise ran. We started this travel business in 1983 in Atlanta, and I pretty much started it in 83, 84, and Louise ran it 84, 85, and was so successful that, together we sold it in 86 and moved to Europe and lived off that for a year. I mean, it was great. But I stayed home with the kids, and she went to work every day. And
how old were they when you did that?
Our youngest was probably 4, maybe 3, and
so a dad can handle them at that point.
And our oldest was probably 12. So, none of them were nursing any longer, but, right. And I get that. And that was my point. I think that we need to acknowledge biology, but at the same time, shouldn't we be looking at a variety of things that we can do as a society to make us a more humane society, to make us a more egalitarian society? I didn't feel emasculated by being the guy who stayed at home, watching the kids for a year, although I was doing a lot of writing during that year that I was home. But in fact, the kids would make jokes about it.
That's not maternity, though. That's just more, a decision you make later on in life.
Well, it was a decision we were very fortunate to be able to make. But we were doing well, but if we weren't, if I hadn't been an entrepreneur, it would not be a decision that I could make. If we were both working at Walmart or something, we would have been both working, and our kids would have been like that 50% of American children who come home from school to an empty house right now, which I think is just a shame. I think it's a crime. And
all I know is I see a lot of role reversals and the resentment it causes and the desire to undo it in marriages, because society, especially if you look at the media, you see the man as a dork. The man is running around like an idiot, and the woman has it all together, and the man is the doofus.
Well, I've seen that in some of our sitcoms, and I think it's kind of a reaction to To the Moon, Alice with Jackie Gleason, or Archie Bunker, Shut Up, Edith. We've played both sides of that, and I think that those kind of things go in cycles. And I think that you can find shows where the women are docile and the men are strong, and you can and vice versa. I'm not willing to paint our entire media with this broad brush. But Carl, I get your point. Thank you for the thoughtful call on that.